The Star Wars galaxy is vastly expansive, with thousands of years of galactic history shaped by conflicts, powerful factions, and legendary heroes and villains. Each era on the timeline is defined by its own unique struggles, ideologies, and the constant battle between the light and dark sides of the Force. But with so many eras spanning thousands of years, it can be difficult to understand how each fits into the larger Star Wars saga. So today, we're catching you up on the canon timeline. This is every single Star Wars era explained. The Dawn of the Jedi era takes place about 25,000 years before A New Hope, possibly earlier, and as of now, it's the period we know the least about. That will all change within a couple of years when James Mangold's movie comes out. Announced at Star Wars Celebration in 2023, it's set to explore this era in depth. The film aims to delve into the origins of the Force and the birth of the Jedi Order, with Mangold describing the project as a biblical epic, drawing inspiration from films like The Ten Commandments to portray the discovery of the Force itself. Personally, it's the upcoming Star Wars movie I'm most excited for, because it will explore an entirely new part of Star Wars history, and Mangold is a solid writer and director, as the man behind Logan, one of the best superhero movies of all time. For now, all we know is that the Dawn of the Jedi era marks the beginning of the Jedi Order and is recognized as the time period where the first beings began to sense and harness the Force. This era is associated with Ahch-To, the location of the first Jedi Temple, where early practitioners gathered to study the light side of the Force. There they developed the principles that would guide the Jedi for a millennia. Around 25,000 BBY is also when the lightsaber architect droid Huyang was created, and he's about the only character we know to be active as of now. While much of the Dawn of the Jedi era remains unexplored in current canon, the forthcoming movie, and likely plenty of accompanying books and comics, promise to shed light on the early days of the Jedi. It will be interesting to see what inspiration is taken from the Star Wars Legends Dawn of the Jedi comics that were set around this time, but Mangold has free rein to take things in a different direction. The Old Republic era is by far the longest, from about 25,000 to 1,000 years before A New Hope. Like the Dawn of the Jedi era, the Old Republic era hasn't been explored much in Star Wars canon. That's probably by design, to avoid both confusion and backlash. The Old Republic games, novels, and comics are some of the most popular entries in Star Wars Legends. No matter how Lucasfilm would try to adapt it to the big screen, some portions of the fans probably wouldn't like it, because hey, who doesn't hate Star Wars more than Star Wars fans? Rather than trying to change things, the Old Republic era has been left alone in canon for the most part, aside from a few small nuggets. This period saw the Jedi Order flourish, serving as protectors of the Old Republic and constructing their temple on Coruscant. However, it was also during this era that a schism within the Jedi Order led to the creation of the Sith, kicking off the 100-year darkness, igniting centuries of devastating conflict between the light and dark. Canon glimpses of this era have introduced us to the ancient Sith planet Moraband, formerly known as Korriban in Legends. Tales of great battles like the Jedi-Sith Wars, and mentions of Sith lords such as Darth Revan, Darth Malak, and Darth Bane, who established the Rule of Two, further highlight the chaos that defined this time. The Mandalorians were also a major faction during this time period, going to war with the Jedi on more than one occasion. One Mandalorian Jedi named Tar Vizsla creates the legendary Darksaber. At the war's end, the Old Republic transforms into the Galactic Republic after the perceived annihilation of the Sith, who were operating from the shadows and abiding by the Rule of Two. SaberCouncil.com's massive holiday sale is here. Right now, you can save 20% off on all lightsabers, for a limited time only. No code needed at checkout, it automatically applies. Saber Council already sets out to offer the most affordable lightsabers on the market, bar none. Even without the sale, their RGB Padawan sabers start at just $66. The discount brings that to $53. Why not grab two and make a double-bladed lightsaber, since they offer free shipping on orders over $100? Saber Council has some of the coolest custom saber designs out there, and if replicas are more your thing, they have a huge selection of all of your favorite characters. So, happy holidays from us at Red 5 and our friends at Saber Council. The High Republic era begins around 500 BBY and lasts for 4 centuries, until 100 BBY. The High Republic era was the golden age for both the Jedi Order and the Galactic Republic, marked by peace and prosperity. Following the disappearance of the threat that was the Sith, it was a time when the Jedi truly lived as the guardians of peace and justice, acting as beacons of hope across the galaxy. This era saw the Jedi at the height of their influence, operating from their temple on Coruscant and reaching the galaxy's furthest frontiers through the Starlight Beacon, a massive space station symbolizing unity and exploration. The Republic, led by Chancellor Lina So, expanded into the Outer Rim territories during this period, using the Jedi as peacekeepers to support its mission of exploration and development. The era's mantra, "We are all the Republic," reflected a unified galaxy striving for mutual growth and understanding. However, this golden age was not without its shadows. The Jedi faced significant threats during the High Republic era, most notably the Nihil, a group of marauders capable of using hyperspace in terrifying ways. They unleashed chaos, targeting the Republic's expansion efforts. Additionally, the dark side lingered at the edges of the galaxy, foreshadowing the decline of the Jedi Order's ability to sense and address the growing power of the dark side. The High Republic is currently being explored through books and comics, though this publishing initiative is set to end next year. The live-action series The Acolyte also takes place at the tail end of this time period, but with its rumored cancellation after Season 1's poor critical performance, it's hard to say what the future holds for the High Republic. The fall of the Jedi era brings us to the prequel trilogy, from roughly 100 BBY to 19 BBY. The fall of the Jedi marks one of the darkest periods in galactic history. This era saw the slow decline of the Jedi Order and the Galactic Republic, ultimately culminating in their collapse at the hands of the Sith. During this time, the Republic became plagued by corruption and political infighting. The Senate, once a beacon of democracy, was controlled by self-serving politicians and dominated by corporate interests like the Trade Federation and Techno Union. Despite these challenges, the Jedi continued to serve as peacekeepers, but their influence began to wane, and their connection to the Force grew clouded by the dark side. At the heart of this era was the rise of Darth Sidious, as the Sith's grand plan finally came to fruition. Operating in secret, Sidious orchestrated events that destabilized the Republic while strengthening his own power. Under his guidance, the Sith infiltrated the Republic at every level, from politics to the military. The era reached its breaking point with the outbreak of the Clone Wars. Engineered by Sidious, the war pitted the Republic against the Confederacy of Independent Systems, a separatist alliance led by Count Dooku, the fallen Jedi turned Sith Lord Darth Tyrannus. The war spread chaos across the galaxy, forcing the Jedi to abandon their traditional roles as peacekeepers to become generals in the Grand Army of the Republic. This shift further strained the Order, leading to internal dissent and doubts about their mission. The fall of the Jedi was swiftly finalized with the execution of Order 66, as the Jedi's chosen one, Anakin Skywalker, turned to the dark side of the Force and became Darth Vader. In an instant, the clone troopers fulfilled their true purpose and turned on their Jedi generals. The Jedi were nearly wiped out, with only a handful of survivors managing to escape into exile. Palpatine declared himself Emperor and transformed the Republic into the Galactic Empire, extinguishing the light of the Jedi and solidifying the Sith's control over the galaxy. What followed was the reign of the Empire from 19 BBY to 5 BBY. Often referred to as the Dark Times, the reign of the Empire saw the newly formed Galactic Empire tighten its grip on every corner of known space. Declared by Emperor Palpatine after the fall of the Republic, this era saw freedom and democracy extinguished in favor of tyranny and fear. The Empire swiftly consolidated its power by absorbing key Republic systems and institutions. The once revered Grand Army of the Republic became the Imperial military, with clone troopers replaced by the human-recruited stormtroopers. The Galactic Senate, though initially maintained as a facade of democracy, was eventually dissolved entirely, leaving Palpatine as the sole ruler. During this period, the few remaining Jedi survivors were hunted by Darth Vader and the Inquisitorius. The Empire's politics were brutal and oppressive, especially in Outer Rim territories where entire populations were enslaved to fuel the Emperor's war machine. Planets like Kashyyyk, home to the Wookiees, suffered under harsh Imperial rule, with its citizens forced into labor camps. The construction of the first Death Star, a massive superweapon capable of destroying entire planets, symbolized the Empire's reign of terror. Meanwhile, small sparks of rebellion began to flicker across the galaxy. Figures like Mon Mothma and Bail Organa secretly laid the groundwork for resistance, while dissident groups such as Saw Gerrera's partisans openly fought back against Imperial forces. While these early uprisings were disorganized and often crushed, they hinted at the growing discontent among the galaxy's oppressed citizens. The shortest era of them all, the Age of Rebellion, contains the events of the original trilogy, between 0 and 4 BBY. The Age of Rebellion was a time of hope and defiance in the galaxy, as the more organized Rebel Alliance rose to challenge the tyranny of the Galactic Empire. Though outnumbered and outgunned, the rebellion became a beacon of resistance, uniting beings from across the galaxy under the shared goal of restoring freedom. One of the first major victories for the rebellion came with the theft of the Death Star plans on Scarif, orchestrated by the team known as Rogue One. Their sacrifice enabled the rebellion to exploit a critical flaw in the Empire's superweapon, leading to its destruction during the Battle of Yavin. This victory proved that the Empire could be defeated and inspired countless others to join the cause. The Empire retaliated with brutal campaigns, but the rebellion endured. Heroes like Luke Skywalker, Princess Leia Organa, and Han Solo became symbols of hope, leading daring missions against Imperial forces. Luke's journey to become a Jedi Knight, guided by Obi-Wan Kenobi and Yoda, not only strengthened the Alliance, but also brought him face-to-face with Darth Vader, his father. The Age of Rebellion culminated in the Battle of Endor, where the Alliance scored its greatest victory. The Rebel fleet destroyed the second Death Star, and Luke Skywalker redeemed his father, Anakin Skywalker, who turned on Emperor Palpatine. The Emperor's death sent shockwaves through the galaxy, marking the beginning of the Empire's downfall. Though the rebellion's struggle was far from over, the Age of Rebellion laid the foundation for a new era of freedom. The New Republic era immediately followed the Battle of Endor, taking place from 4 ABY to 34 ABY. The New Republic was founded in the aftermath of the Galactic Civil War. Built on the principles of democracy and freedom, it sought to restore the ideals of the Galactic Republic while avoiding the mistakes that led to its downfall. The Rebel Alliance formally transitioned into the New Republic following the signing of the Galactic Coordinates, a treaty that officially ended the Galactic Civil War after the Empire's final defeat on Jakku. The Empire was fractured, reduced to scattered remnants under warlords, while the New Republic established its capital on Chandrila, the homeworld of the new Chancellor, Mon Mothma. Unlike the centralized Galactic Republic, the New Republic implemented a rotating capital system to prevent the concentration of power that had allowed Palpatine to seize control. Though the Empire was defeated in open warfare, its remnants remained a threat. Much of the surviving Imperial remnants retreated into the unknown regions, where they began rebuilding in secret. Others remained active in the Outer Rim. During this period, the New Republic faced significant challenges. Its decentralized government made decision-making slow, and political divisions arose between members who supported military preparedness and those who advocated for demilitarization. Mon Mothma pushed for peace and disarmament, believing that the New Republic should not repeat the militarization that defined the Empire. This often left citizens to deal with Imperial remnants themselves, such as Din Djarin's Mandalorian covert and the once Jedi Ahsoka Tano, though they are unable to prevent the return of Imperial Grand Admiral Thrawn, the apparent heir to the Empire. The rise of the First Order brought upon another period of galactic war, between 28 and 35 ABY. Born from the remnants of the Galactic Empire, the First Order emerged as a militarized regime, determined to reclaim the power lost after the fall of Emperor Palpatine. Amid these tensions, Leia Organa founded the Resistance, after discovering evidence of the First Order's emergence. Despite its ideals, the New Republic struggled to maintain unity and stability. The seeds of its downfall were sown as the First Order grew in strength, preparing to strike at a galaxy unprepared for another war. But the First Order indeed rose to power by exploiting the weakness of the New Republic. While the Republic had disarmed much of its military, the First Order began launching raids and expanding its influence in the Outer Rim, often going unnoticed by the centralized government. Snoke, a mysterious darkside wielder, served as the First Order's supreme leader. Under his command, the First Order implemented a strategy of fear and domination, culminating in the construction of Starkiller Base, a superweapon capable of destroying entire star systems. The Cold War reached its boiling point and turned hot, when Starkiller Base obliterated the Hosnian system, including the Republic's capital and fleet, effectively dismantling the New Republic in a single strike. The First Order also played a pivotal role in the rise of Kylo Ren, formerly Ben Solo, the son of Leia Organa and Han Solo. Seduced by Snoke, Kylo Ren became the First Order's enforcer, turning on and destroying Luke Skywalker's Jedi Academy. Though Starkiller Base was destroyed by the Resistance, the First Order remained a formidable threat, nearly obliterating the Resistance and bringing the galaxy to the brink of total submission. The First Order's tyranny, however, was ultimately challenged by the Jedi Rey Skywalker and a redeemed Ben Solo, who defeated a cloned Emperor Palpatine during the climactic battle of Exegol. Currently, the final era we know of on the Star Wars timeline, the New Jedi Order, begins in 36 ABY. This was a major era in Star Wars Legends, highlighted by the invasion of the Yuuzhan Vong and the war that followed. However, in canon, we know next to nothing for now. Announced at Star Wars Celebration last year, Sharmeen Obaid-Chinoy is directing a new Jedi Order movie that will see Daisy Ridley return as Rey. It also wouldn't surprise me if this is where Lucasfilm's next publishing line will be focused after the High Republic wraps up in 2025. We know the movie will take place 15 years after the rise of Skywalker, but that's about it. We have no idea if the New Republic is in charge once again, what possible threats could emerge, or what Rey's Jedi Order could look like. All we can hope is that it will set the franchise on a new path that will lead us to very new and exciting places. Well, hopefully not dividing the fandom in the way that the conclusion of the sequel trilogy did.